Happy Monday, Nesters. This is Dawn, and I'm back with another video. This week, Cheryl, Mary Jo, and I are going to be looking at the Teresa Collins Celebrate line. We're going to all be working with it. This is one of my favorite lines from Teresa Collins. It's a little bit older line, but the colors and the patterns are just so fun. It was designed as a birthday line. And you can see that some of the tags here in this punch out set are very birthday themed, but the project that I'm going to show you today has nothing to do with a birthday, so it is very adaptable. And you can see the B side of this paper has little birthday invitations, but the other side is just orange stars, which you can use for anything. So I'm going to go through these real quick. And again, this is happy birthday on this side, but here it's just a great ledger paper. Again, cupcakes, but another ledger, and I'm going to actually use this print. Here's got different cutouts. I'm going to use the Looking Good cutout today as part of my title and my layout. Love the stars. Then you've got these, which are cute. You could totally cut these out and make a little pennant, a happy birthday pennant. And the other side just says wish. I'm going to walk you through a layout. I'm going to create this based off this picture of my middle son. This was about 1.5 years ago. We were on a vacation to Disney World, and we were waiting for a ferry at Epcot, and he was just leaning against the railing, and I just thought he looked adorable, so I snapped the picture. And I've mounted it on a sheet of the pattern paper from the Teresa Collins line. You can see the back says happy birthday. The other side is just solid red, which is perfect. I'm going to use the ledger paper, cupcakes on the back. I don't need cupcakes, but the ledger's perfect. That's going to form kind of my base background paper. I'm going to use the stars. The other side are definitions, things like gift, celebrate, wish. But again, stars, you can use those anytime. I cut out the little Looking Good. And then from the one punch out sheet, I'm going to use this as a journaling block, and you can see it's double-sided. What I'm also going to use is this sheet of paper. I'm going to use the stripe side. The other side, very, very birthday themed. You can see it says, happy, celebrate you, blow out the candles. Right here, just a nice stripe. I'm going to use a border punch, and I am going to punch out a scalloped edge, and it's actually going to go along the bottom of the star paper. So I'm going to do that real quick. And then there you can see there's a scalloped edge, and I'm going to be inking this black just to help it to stand out. And I'm just going to trim a little strip of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ink all of my edges. I went with my paper trimmer and cut the strip of the scallops, and I'm going to ink all these edges, and then all the other papers that I showed you before, I'm going to go ahead and ink those edges. While I'm doing that, I'm going to add a little bit of color to this craft background. And this is some of the new Heidi Swapp Color Shine. This is Sweet Cherry. I just ordered all 12 of her colors because they're just adorable. And I'm just going to flick a little bit. And we're going to go down the page in a diagonal. So I'm going top left to bottom right. And I'm just going to set this to the side and let it dry while I'm inking all my edges. I've gone ahead and let the Color Shine droplets dry on my craft cardstock, and it's a nice opaque color, but yet there's still some glimmer to it, and I don't know how well the camera is going to pick it up, but it's really nice. It's kind of the best of both worlds with these sprays. I also went ahead and I inked all my edges. I used my foam applicator tool. I've talked about these things before, but I use them when I do most of my inking. And I just went ahead and I inked all my edges. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this ledger sheet, and it's going to end up covering a lot of the droplets that I just made. That's okay though, because we're going to do something on top of this ledger as well. So let me go ahead and adhere this down first. Now, like I said, I've covered a lot of my droplets, so I want to add a little bit more texture on top of this. I have this template. It's a 6x6 template. It's a Balzer Designs, and I'm going to use the stars. I think those are adorable, and it goes with the whole star theme that I have going on. And I'm going to use those and just to add a little bit of texture to this background. Now, just to give you an idea of where I'm going with this, this is going to run about here. This will run underneath it. And the picture, it may go here, it may go down here, but roughly in this area. And I'll have this tucked under here. I'll have some title here, finish it up here, and then my journaling card will be here. So I've got a little bit of the ledger paper showing here and then a little bit at the bottom. What I'm going to do is the area here, and my title's going to cover some of it, but that's okay. Those are my kids in the background. This is life at my house. But I'm going to add some stars here. Okay, just going to be honest, keep it real. I was distracted with my kids. I went to do some of the masking a couple minutes ago. Forgot to mask underneath my stencil and ended up shading the whole bottom half of my page red. It's a pretty red, but it's not what I was going for. So we're going to do a do-over. So this is the side that I had initially tried, and I'm starting over. So I've gone through and I've done my line of little spackles of the Color Shine. Thankfully, I had another sheet of this paper, so I went ahead and cut this. And I'm going to be honest, I don't measure things. I kind of eyeball them. When I did the comparison between my original cut and the second one, the width was exact. The length was maybe ½ an inch difference. So I'm pretty accurate when it comes to eyeballing things. But that's all I did. So now we're going to do take 2. I'm going to re-glue this down. And you didn't see this on the video. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to mask. I'm going to use this template, and I'm going to use the Color Shine to get these stars to go about right here. A lot of this ledger is going to be covered by different pattern paper or the picture or my journaling, but I want to add a little bit of extra dimension here. Now this time I'm going to be smart and I'm going to mask the other parts of the layout. This is just some cardstock from my junk pile, which sounds kind of mean, but it's true. And that'll go there. Up here is going to be covered by the packaging. And then let me put this over here. This way, only the parts that I want to get sprayed are going to get sprayed. I'm working on my island in my kitchen. If I was on a different surface, I'd probably have cardboard underneath this, but it's an island, so I can just wipe it up. So I'm going to spray about here. I'm going to make sure I've got it exactly where I want it. And we'll cover this part. And my hands are going to get a little red when I do this. But I promise it's just Color Shine. I'm not bleeding. Actually, I did okay. So let me lift this up. You're going to probably see a tiny bit of the hexagon shape because there's stars, hexagons, and circles here. So you can see a tiny bit of the hexagon, but it's not that big a deal. Lift this up. And now you can see the only thing that has the color, which is what I wanted, was up here. And you'll see that everything else is going to kind of get masked. Not masked, sorry, in that frame of mind. It's going to get covered by different elements of the page. So I'm going to let this dry for just a minute. While it's drying though, maybe you can see it's a nice opaque color, but there's still some glimmer to it. So it's really cool what Heidi came up with. But we're going to go ahead, let this dry, then I'll come back and add some other elements to the page. I am back. I went ahead and I changed things up a little bit from how I thought I was going to adhere everything. I knew I wanted to have part of my title up here, and I was going to use the looking good for the other part of it. And I thought to myself, I should probably adhere these letters before I adhere everything else, just to make sure everything fits. This is just an old vinyl set that I had, so it's hanging out and looking good. And basically what I did is I just put this title down first, then I used that to determine where I wanted to put the looking good, and then I did the picture. And I realized this left me with a little bit of space up here. Originally, I was going to do my journaling down here somewhere, but I wasn't terribly keen on that idea. I just wasn't sure where else to put it. Once I had this space, I decided that I'm going to go ahead, and it might be over here a little bit or up here a little bit, but I'm going to put my journaling up here in this space, and I'm going to raise it up on some foam dots. And what I'm going to do, because the layout right now is kind of flat, to add a little bit of dimension, I've got these buttons, and I'm going to take a few of these buttons and I'm going to thread them with some red baker's twine, and I'm going to add them to the center of a few of these stars, just here and there. And then I'll probably put one up here as well, just to give it that little bit of connection with the rest of the layout. So I'm going to go ahead and start threading my buttons, and then I'll be back and let you see the final adhering of everything and how the layout comes out. So we're going to finish this layout. I don't have anything adhered yet, but I went through and I added the baker's twine through each of the buttons. So I've just got them kind of random in the centers of some of the stars down here, and then I've got one tied in with my journaling spot. I went ahead and did the journaling, and then I just doodled a tiny bit around the perimeter of the page. So what I'm going to do at this point is just adhere my buttons, adhere my journaling, and call it done. I really enjoy this paper, and you may see another blog post from me even this week. You might see something on Thursday with another project I've done using this paper. I like it so much that I want to share some with you all. So what we're going to do this week, and Mary Jo and Cheryl don't even know about this yet, but for all the comments that are placed on the blog this week and all the new followers for the blog this week, we're going to throw you in and do an entry, and I'm going to randomly choose somebody next Monday, and that person is going to receive this Celebrate kit from Teresa Collins so that they can craft along with us. So I really would love to see lots of entries for this, and if we can see a lot of interest for this, we'll probably throw in some more giveaways in the near future. So I'd love to see you comment, love to see you follow the blog, but most especially I'd love to see what you create as you craft your nest. Bye.